Looksmaxing really needs no introduction, as if you clicked on this video, you know what it is. Looksmaxers have been everywhere on the internet and are largely inescapable. Clavicular getting frame-mogged by the frat leader, this guy not touching receipts because it's gonna turn him into a girl or something, and most recently, Androgenic apologizing for misgendering a trans woman.
Cheers, man. Fuck. I'm sorry, by the way. I didn't mean to call you a man. I did not mean to do that.
I don't mind.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that.
Wait, what? Aren't Looksmaxers inherently right-wing and trans women are the current right's boogeyman? Why would he be supporting trans women? Recently, I've had a bit of a strange obsession with Androgenic. He's got a lot of similarities to Clavicular, but there's something so unique about him in particular. He's not an asshole.
There's a current trend of men shaming women for having hip dips and calling them hiplets, and I think it mainly comes from short men who don't want to be referred to as manlets. But people always love to fight over which trait is more brutal to be shamed for having. Let's not make a competition out of who gets it more brutal.
This trait feels like it's almost inherently tied to Looksmaxers that when I saw this clip, my jaw dropped. It goes against everything that I believed Looksmaxing stands for. Looksmaxing is such a strange subculture on the internet because it is inherently tied to incels and their outlook on life. The only reason that women won't date me or sleep with me is because I'm ugly. This, obviously, is incredibly reductive and shallow, but that is what they believe. The irony is that many Looksmaxers, and Clavicular included, completely disagree with the idea that Looksmaxing is tied to incel culture.
Was born out of the incel community and movement. Do you identify with that group? How do you feel about being linked to that group of people?
Do I identify as an incel? I mean, how could you ask me that question as a follow-up after you asked me about my relationships to women? I mean, that's quite literally the worst sequence of questions I think I've ever heard. I'm not linked to that group in any way. Looksmaxing is self-improvement, right? So it's about potentially even ascending out of that category. And so that would be kind of one of the goals, is to disassociate from being an incel and overcome that. So that doesn't make sense. Too bad I didn't have time to look into, anything about who your wife cheated with, but don't try to go down that line of questioning.
I'm not married.
But despite this, incels and Clavicular both believe that personality isn't in the equation. Or if it is, their personality is good enough to where the only thing holding them back could be their looks. If you've seen any of the clips of Clavicular or any other Looksmaxer, you will see the true ugliness that hides behind that sharp jawline and interesting nose job. It's his personality.
Okay? Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. Fuck streaming. Like, these who sit here all fucking day.
The Porsche with...
Shut the fuck up. Alright, shut the fuck up!
He is completely rude to women, especially if he cannot get anything from them. He is a blatant racist, homophobic, transphobe, and just a generally unpleasant presence. Clav would likely deny any and all claims of bigotry that I just made about his character, and that's fine, I guess.
I'm not fucking racist, first of all.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to a very simple question for me. Are you not black?
Are you just like pure white?
I'm pure white.
Yes. Do you say the N-word in any way, shape, or form?
Play gangster rap or some shit like that. Give me an excuse to say
Also, yes. Then you're racist. The exact same set of questions could easily be asked for his other types of bigotry. If you
Comes with cum. Whoa!
If you say slurs, you're a bigot. If you're a bigot, you're a bad person. It doesn't matter if you claim I love everybody equally if you've built this platform on hating minorities. And while bigotry isn't the foundation for Clavicular's brand, it is most certainly a part of it.
Marlon Boggs, all of you? Yeah, but he's black. No, he's not. No, he's not. I'm not fucking racist, first of all.
And the thing that I'm always confused about is like, what content have I really made that's racist? The only criticism or like technically like racist implication I could have is using the N-word.
This could easily be seen in who his audience is and what they say. Blacks are racist maxing always, and fellings Fellings hurt maxing. Full-time, all of them, not a few all. Not to mention that his fans gave him backlash for kissing a trans woman. There's also a clip of him saying that he mogs Marlon because he's black, which he has stated is a joke clip, but if the punchline to your joke is black people are ugly, then that's not really a joke. It's just racist. You have not said anything profound or interesting through the art form of comedy. You've just said something taboo and shocking to jolt our brains into some emotional response. It's lazy, and it's just stupid. Clav also tries to skirt responsibility for any political content in his videos because he claims to be an apolitical person. But everything is political, especially his streams. He hangs out with Andrew Tate and Sneeko and just generally associates with alt-right leaning figures, despite having some opinions that are occasionally more liberal-leaning. His interview with Michael Knowles is, unironically, a hilarious watch because of how confused Michael is the entire time about his politics.
And they say, well, how does it affect you if I decide I want to like castrate little kids in the school and redefine marriage and slaughter babies and sacrifice them to Moloch? And how does that affect you? You just mind your own business. And I think, how about I don't mind my own business? How about my business is my community and I have a right to enforce standards and norms that are good and traditional and conducive to flourishing? And how about you mind your own business?
But the problem is, you see what you just did there is you spiked your cortisol thinking about transgenders.
Will that max anything on me?
No, that's a very catabolic hormone.
I don't think that Clavicular is necessarily a political person, but I do think that he has political beliefs, and he very proudly states them, and generally they're more on the conservative side. But I digress, because if you're watching this video, then you probably already know all this. I doubt that any viewer of a trans video essayist would disagree with most of what I said. Looksmaxers are cringe. They feed into the alt-right pipeline.
Look at this gay and woke nerd!
They're horrible role models for young men. But what if they weren't? We are at a very divisive time in history, especially for masculinity. The dominant masculine culture resides within the manosphere. Your Joe Rogans, Andrew Tates, Jordan Petersons, Eden Rosses, and yes, even your Claviculars. I don't need to explain the manosphere in depth because it has been done many times before, but it is important that we establish the ultimate goal of the manosphere, which is, well, I'm not really sure.
I dreamed I saw my maternal grandmother sitting by the bank of a swimming pool, which was also a river. Her genital region was exposed.
Obviously, on some very surface level, the manosphere is built to aid young men in helping them find their place in the world. But in reality, it's about upholding fascism and the patriarchy. They preach values like heterosexual marriage being the only way to live your life, women belong in the kitchen, black people are, insert random bad stereotype here, yada yada yada. It is devoid of pretty much any and all actual helpful advice for young men, and is instead based on creating an emotional response disguised as a logical one. And young men eat that shit up. However, I think recently a certain form of counterculture has been forming online that is an interesting branch of the classic form of masculinity. Something more positive. Something punk rock. When I went to go watch Superman in theaters, I was really excited to see Superman finally get a movie adaptation for the modern era that wasn't stoic or morally ambiguous, a loser that Zack Snyder made him out to be. And I wasn't disappointed. I think that the thesis of the Superman movie is that ultimately we don't have to be mean to each other, but especially men. Men can be kind and loving, and that doesn't make them any less of a man. Because Superman is a human being just like everyone else. It's not his powers that make him super, it's his love for all living things. Hatred and anger have become so commonplace that they have become the culture. So now there needs to be a wave of counterculture. That's why kindness is the new punk rock. I think Superman was the first wave of truly fighting against the idea that men have to be this emotionless creature devoid of happiness, at least in the mainstream. There are plenty of other examples of this happening, but I think Superman was really the first one to say, stop, you don't have to act like this. you can be kind and still be a man. If you look at Clavicular talking about his philosophy on happiness, doesn't it make you a little sad?
Why are men not supposed to be happy?
Because life is hard, and
Can't you enjoy difficult things?
not if you want to succeed to the highest level that you possibly could.
You know, where would you say you are on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say that I'm pretty low. I mean, I don't sleep. I don't really do. I haven't like done anything outside of content for like months now. I don't even have time to go to the gym. So I would say that, you know, like my overall well-being would certainly have taken a hit from like the content that I'm doing. But
In fact, it's not just him. He is one of many manosphere creators that say happiness doesn't matter if you're a man. And call me Antifa, but I think men deserve to be happy. I think everyone deserves to be happy. Of course, that happiness shouldn't come at the expense of someone else's, because no one's happiness is more important than anyone else's. See, the internet has realized that spreading hate and rage bait for views and money is easy to do, but actually making something that touches someone's soul and that holds their inner child and whispers, "It's okay," that's hard to do. And because masculinity has become so obsessed with hustling and succeeding by any means necessary, we've kind of lost the plot on really trying to be kind. This branch of hypermasculinity is so hellbent on ignoring or outright condemning this integral part of the human condition that it is actively harming the community that resides within it. But here comes Superman to save the day. If you're like me and were completely unaware about Androgenic until this clip surfaced, then let me introduce you to the anti-Clav. Clavicular's philosophy on personality is that it ultimately doesn't matter. Women are shallow and stupid, so why would I invest time in making my personality better when all they care about is how I look? Androgenic completely flips this idea of looksmaxing on its head and says, I want to be the best version of myself that I can be, regardless of what people think. And while that does include taking steroids and getting cosmetic surgeries, it doesn't end there. Clavicular and many other looksmaxers claim that looksmaxing is self-improvement, but they rarely ever do anything to actually improve themselves. Yes, they do look conventionally attractive, but it clearly does very little to nourish the one thing that actually matters, their souls. Androgenic has outright stated that yes, looksmaxing is self-improvement, and part of yourself is your personality, so I must improve that too.
People very often tell me that I'm unique and interesting because I value looks, mind, and personality, and status, I suppose, also highly. But I find it absurd that this is interesting and abnormal, because in a video game, like, you're meant to upgrade all your stats, right? I just see it the same way. Why would you only upgrade like one stat when you can upgrade all of them?
He also actively speaks out against bigotry, saying that if someone is going about their day makes you mad, you've just been mogged.
If you are walking around and you see a transgender person or a gay person or a woman not wearing many clothes or a guy that's trying to show off, and you feel any kind of resentment or negative emotion towards them, you just got fucking mogged. You understand? You let them perturb your mental state. You let them enter your brain and ruin your day. You got fucking mogged. You need to learn better emotional regulation.
This introduces a new and interesting type of looksmaxing, one that has a much more positive spin to it. It's more niche, it's counterculture, but it's punk rock. It's a kind of looksmaxing that also promotes body positivity, acknowledging your flaws and still being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, because self-improvement is a never-ending journey, one that doesn't only include specific parts of yourself. It's all of you. And you can see this distinctive divide between Clavicular and Androgenic. Clav often looks disconnected from the outside world. He clearly doesn't enjoy what he's doing, but he does it because it's what needs to be done. He talks about how he feels no connection to the people around him, which is no doubt in part to his autism that may not be officially confirmed, but nobody neurotypical goes to the extremes that he goes to for his goals, not to mention his concoction of drugs to, in his own words, feel neurotypical. But this disdain for humanity that Clavicular has is not a symptom of autism. It's just narcissistic or insecurity. On the other side of the coin, Androgenic has this immense love for not only what he does, but for the people that he interacts with. This may be because Androgenic is possibly neurotypical and generally can have a much easier time navigating a social situation than Clavicular, but he's also just generally more open-minded and is always kind to people, even if they cross a boundary. I also think that Clavicular kind of puts himself in situations to get overstimulated, and that can make him irritable and off-putting. You should be off-putting. But you can see the difference in these two characters in how their audience reacts to them. If you look at the average comment on a Clavicular video, it's much more likely to be bigoted and hateful than an Androgenic video. This contrast in character between the two of them is so very interesting to me, considering that they come from the same community and have even met up before. And Androgenic has said himself, the two have a lot in common. You can also feel these differences in how people greet them in real life, but the traits that they don't share are what makes the contrast between the two so stark. They are security versus insecurity. They are love versus hate. They are Batman and Joker. Okay, maybe they're not Batman and Joker, but they are two sides of the same coin. So they're Batman and Two-Face, actually. This was just a quick video that I kind of had an idea for and I wanted to get off my chest. I am working on a longer video that will hopefully be out sometime eventually. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. I have a Discord server. I have a podcast. I have a satirical podcast. Play a clip.
Michael Jackson has an album, yeah.
He put out Thriller.
He put out Thriller. He's also
What the fuck? You're gonna have to give me a second. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Also, if you want to support the channel, I don't have a Patreon or anything like that, but I am partnered with this energy drink company, Dilly. I like it. It's pretty good. Caffeine and Adderall fuels my life, and I think they taste pretty good. I think they taste pretty good too. So if you want to use my code, it's very ultraviolet. You get a discount and it helps support the channel. You can also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/veryultraviolet, where I stream generally twice a week. I've been a little bit less consistent about it more recently, but I'm trying to get on top of it. I don't know. I have other socials. You can look in the description if you want to. But yeah, thank you for watching, I guess. Do I look weird?